There we are. Good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Hello, Dr. Tadek. Here we are with Beatrice, our guest speaker. Beatrice, Dr. Abdel Salan is our director here at the center. Just wanted to introduce you to him, but I had to start the meeting. Didn't get the
Yes,
chance a
nice to
minute
meet
ago.
you.
Okay, let's wait a few minutes to allow for some participants to join. We already have 12 people in the room. I think we are good to start. Beatrice, are you ready for presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I just gonna introduce you really quickly, but first I just want to let everyone know that this presentation is gonna be recorded. I hope you're okay with that. If not, just let us know in the chat. Um, all right, let me put the button for recording. Good afternoon, everyone. We are here once more for our P2 webinar series. This time we have our guest speaker, Beatrice. Beatrice, she's from Clemson University and will be here today with us to talk about septic system failures, health and prevention in South Carolina. My name is Marley Irby. I work here at East Carolina University at the Center for Sustainable Energy and Environmental Engineering, and I will be the moderator of this session. Please, next slide. Here at the center, we have a mission to promote, enhance, and serve the community, industry, and we do this by different services like research and also technical assistance for the manufacturing sector. This webinar series is part of this service that we're doing to our community, academia, and industry to provide the community with additional knowledge, in particularly in topics like pollution prevention, waste reduction, energy efficiency, and sustainability. Next slide, please. Some of those services that we do through our pollution prevention program include workshops, technical courses, cash flow market analysis, technical and engineering support, and energy, water, and lean assessments at no cost to manufacturers. Next slide, please. As a quick reminder for this webinar, we are recording the session. We will provide you with the presenter slides at the end, and we will also have a Q&A session to ask questions. But if you have questions during the presentation, please feel free to add them in the chat and we can circle back at the end. Also, please know that your feedback is very valuable to us, so we can always improve our work and continue bringing you valuable sessions. Next slide, please. So now I'm going to share a little bit more about our guest speaker, Beatriss Calhoun. She is from Clemson University, specifically from the Water Resources group. She is a Water Resources Extension agent, and she has a bachelor's degree in marine biology from the College of Charleston. She has worked in the environmental and water sciences field since 2016, currently serves as a water resource agent and she's a co-lead at the Ashley Cooper Stormwater Education Consortium in the Charleston Tri-County area. Her work spans in a wide range of water-focused efforts, including rainwater harvesting, K-12 education through the From Seeds to Shoreline program, septic systems awareness, emergency preparedness, stormwater pond assistance, and community litter cleanups. She is also passionate about the power of water, not just as a resource, but as a force that shapes our communities. Beatrice believes in the importance of education and action to protect water quality and promote safe, sustainable living with the water bodies around all of us. Water always has a story to tell, and Beatrice has a deep love for sharing it with those who need to hear it. So thank you, Beatrice, for being here with us. We're very excited to hear more about your work and your projects. And from now on, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much for that introduction, and thank you so much for having me here. So I'll kick it off because I know I have 30 minutes and I don't want to go over. um,
You don't
so,
worry.
so like she stated earlier, my name is Beatriss Calhoun, also known as B. I'm a water resource agent for the Clemson Extension, and I focus in the Charleston Tri-County area, which includes Berkeley, Dorchester, and Charleston County. And that Ashley Cooper Stormwater Education Consortium, that long title, is basically a organization where municipalities in the local area and also education groups get together and focus on pollutants of concerns. And one of our pollutants of concerns is bacteria. And that also comes from septic. So we're helping the community learn how to prevent septic failures, getting that bacteria in our environment. So with any project or program that I work on or anyone on our team works on, we like to think of the goal. That helps tunnel vision a little bit our methods and practices to get to a goal to have some solutions put in place. So our goal for this one was to bridge the gap of members of the community who own septic to know that costly failures lead into environmental issues and a lot of money coming out of their pocket. And so how do we get that message out? We use a few different tools. I know it might be a little out of order how I may say it, but we started off with community presentations, tabling events, webinars such as this, and other types of presentation form sections to give people information on septic best practices. So how to keep it moving healthy and continue to flow. I guess that's a water pun. Our targeted assistance programs, that wasn't something that was fully through Clemson Extension, but our partnering organizations, we grouped together with them and assisted them with information messaging, promotional items, and all different types of stuff that is connected to their targeted assistance programs. And I will go into detail later on in this presentation about 2 case studies that programs were launched in the community. Another thing that we do every 2 years as the water resource team, we have a mass media campaign. And this year, our mass media campaign was focused on septic, which was great. So with that, we have a billboard. We are able to utilize the free space billboard in South Carolina to post messaging for septic use. Also, we have a commercial that runs through the fall and winter season. I think that's the time when your septic system is really working the most because you got guests over. And then also we are able to use those mass media campaigns for social media outreach. And then lastly, we had a knowledge survey that was conducted by a specialist on our water resource team, and I'll go into details about that later on. But all these collective tools is to reach a focused goal of showing how outreach efforts are definitely needed when sustainable infrastructure goals are being put in place. A lot of that information can be technical for the audience that is receiving it. And so we stay in the middle of it and translate it and make it simpler for individuals who need to make the change or need assistance on making that change can understand. Now, I know I said our goal, but as natural resource in general, and all of us online today, our main goal is a healthy environment. So we want to make septic system failures rare. And I say rare because it's a system. It's something that was designed. It has a shelf life. It's going to have a lifespan that ends, but we don't want that failure to be so much as a human influence and more as a failure that might be beyond our control. So the graph that you see there, it's not really connected to anything. It's not a real graph, but it just gives you a visual of at the beginning of septics, the dawn of their existence, we didn't have a lot of reporting of failure. We had different times, different environments, different methods of retaining information connected to septics. So it wasn't fully documented or expressed during that time. But as time moved on, our environment changed, our way of reporting changes, permitting changes, all those things show that failures were getting a little too much. And so we want to get it back on that downslope to where we have rare septic failures to give us some time to recover if we do have failures, or those major failures that go along with natural changes, we're able to deal with those with funding and costs versus just human error. So this is a quick overview to let you know what's leading on into this presentation. So I just went into introductions and goals, and then I'm going to be going over septic basics. I won't go into full details of septic basics, just speak on how we presented it to the audience that we were looking into. Messaging of the septic basics. And then I will go into a survey that was conducted by one of our specialists to give you details on that, and 2 case studies from Mount Pleasant and Edisto Island. And then to wrap things up, future planning, conclusions, questions, and thank yous. So septic basics. Like I said earlier, we did community type presentations, and that gave us a good gauge of our audience. It allowed the audience to access questions and then to also ask the audience questions to see where their level of understanding, or to be honest, if they care or not. Septic is one of those things is literally in your backyard. So you may not be concerned as much as we are. So the characters that you see there, the comment bubbles, I actually put those comments in, and those are actually comments that were said at a lot of events. So at the top where we learned, it states that there are levels to understanding septic systems, and it seriously is. Like the first comment that you see, wait, I have septic. So when we would have these presentations and talk to individuals about septic things or how their plumbing might be working or things of that nature, that question came up. Some people may just drop into our events just because they love Clemson Extension and may not fully know the details. And then, oh, now I learn I have septic and there might be some work I need to do. So levels of understanding septic system varies. Another thing is understanding what wastewater truly is. A comment that was made during some of our other presentations where I just thought my toilet was connected to septic and nothing else. And so that's a little concerning from a engineer's perspective, but that is what a user is. So we have to be conscious of the different types of users that we have. Cost of wastewater is something that may not be fully understood as well. Some individuals believe that if they receive a water bill, that they're paying for their wastewater management. But if you are on septic, you are the wastewater management, your home, you are the boss and the manager of your wastewater. So the cost burden is on you. But there are programs that are being created to assist homeowners with managing that cost. And then also the importance of water quality. It does vary as well. Not everybody is a water resource agent like me. I love water. And even if I was wasn't a water resource agent, it would still be my top priority to have clean water. But I don't know about y'all, but life is lifing. So there's a lot of things that goes on. And sometimes septic is put in the background or in the backyard where it's located. So we have to understand that our audience may not have the same passion as we do. So the other bubbles, they state, I am a renter. So that's from a perspective of where the landlord may not have told the renter that they live on septic, or the renter don't care that the landlord told them that they lived on septic, or anything of that nature. Or the landlord is not even located in the state that they own their home in. Another thing is with septic systems, they're old systems. So a lot of older individuals are owning septics, and some of them are on fixed incomes. So if a failure comes along, that could be a really big hit to their pocket and their income. And then, like I stated earlier, in 2020, we had a big influx of individuals coming into the low country area. I don't know about in North Carolina, but it surely was a swing here. And a lot of those individuals bought homes almost like as seen on TV or seen as it is, and don't know that they're on septic, and they haven't came to visit, didn't get it inspected or anything. So the owners of a lot of these homes that may be on septic do not live here and do not know the health of their septic system. So we had to know that as well. So the basics, and I won't labor you into the details, but the one thing that we did highlight here is in that home, if you could see the image, we tried to show that those pipes all lead to your septic systems. I was able to find this image online and use it for presentations. And that includes your dishwasher, the utility sink that you might have hooked into your plumbing to lead. All of that leads into your septic system. And we also highlight, because some people may not know the details of waste, what your septic system tank does. So it holds the water just for a amount of time to allow the things to separate into 3 layers. So you have the scum on top, that's your fat, oils, and grease. The solids on the bottom, I don't have to go into details about that. And then the middle is your wastewater, or effluent is another term. And it all leads down into a drain field that is engineered to treat that water. And then in this image, you see a pump out, because we want our audience who are septic users to know you need to pump your septic tank out. And there's a time frame for that as well. With those presentations that we would give, breaking down what septic systems are, is messaging that associates with that, things that we try to highlight to the community that they should do. I've noticed that something cut off when I was converting slides, but only thing that's supposed to be going into your septic tank is toilet paper, wastewater, and septic safe cleaning products. Anything else could lead to a failure or problems or repair in your septic system. And I know I have kids and things of that nature, so you have to translate that out to other individuals in the home so everybody is on board with keeping the septic system healthy. Another thing is knowing your septic system location. So I have an acronym that goes with these words, and it's PIMP, so you can take that how you want, but it spells out that you need to protect your septic system, inspect your septic system, maintain it so you can be proactive if anything happens. That is a big message that we try to give to septic homeowners, because if you don't know the location, you can't protect it. Another thing is making sure you have a pump out. That's why we always have that image showing somewhere to remind people you need your septic systems pumped out. And again, I want to highlight on knowing your septic location. We were able to give a interview for a septic system service provider. And this is why it's very important. He was working with a new homeowner that wanted to get his septic system get their septic system checked, and positive, that's what we want. But as he probed through their yard, because they did not know where that septic system was located, he reached a above ground pool. And if you know the rest, is the above ground pool, the septic system tank was right up under it. So hopefully that above ground pool was not built recently, that having to move, but that is a cost that comes into not knowing where your septic system is located. And then lastly, the important dates you need to know. Pump outs are every 3 to 5 years, and inspections are every 1 to 2 years. And that time frame can change depending on how hard you run your system. In college, I live with a lot of individuals to save money. So if you are in a home that's connected to septic systems and there's a lot of individuals living in there, there's more that's going on with your system. So that means more pump outs are going to happen or more inspections are going to happen. So have to keep that in mind. Also during COVID, if you could see this image of a dog with a crown, if you had a bunch of toilet paper, you was the king around here during COVID. And with that, we learned that individuals, if you have too much toilet paper that ends up into your system, and the people who might wad it all up and then use it, that's problems as well. So during that time, we were able to create a program that built up to what we have now, which is the Be Septic Safe program. And we were partnering with South Carolina Department of Environmental Services and other members of Ashley Cooper to create messaging and giveaway items and all types of things. We created a guidebook like this that we would give to septic users to help them maintain their septics. And in that web page is just a list of frequently asked questions, and it gives you details of how to respond to whatever concern you might have. Now I'm going to go into a survey that was created by Mrs. Daewoo Zhang. She is a specialist for the water resource team for Clemson Extension on the university side. And the survey that she conducted, I know it says knowledge survey, but it was for the audience to give us information on how much they know about the environmental factors that go along with septic system management and their thoughts about it. So one of the things that they highlight was septic service availability. Later on, I'll show a graph, but we have 40 individuals who were septic service companies that were able to conduct the survey with us, and about 440 septic users. So it's a lot of fours, but if you know that number it's got a pretty big gap. And so to help individuals make sure that their septic systems were being served, we had to see how are they receiving their service. So that's one thing that we looked in the knowledge assessment. Another thing that we looked at is cost of service, septic system service. So it can range between $4,000 to over $7,000 if you're needing a replacement or repair, or even more than that, depending on the specs of the home. So that cost is a high dollar. So we're trying to see the audience ability to pay for that cost, or ideas of payment plans and things of that nature to make sure we can lead to success and eliminate some of the septic failures in areas. And then $400 is also something you have to plan for casual or minor repairs and maintenance. And that's something else you have to think of, because if you need to get it done the next day and you don't have $400 to get that done, that prolongs the time. We had to check into the audience about what type of septic users they were. So that's the last tab you see on the end. And with that, you see that some users were option one. And that's the ones that they may not know that they have septic. They got a pool or above their septic tank. Or you have some that it's in their backyard. They don't really care about it. They don't know anything about it, and it's fine. And then option two, those are individuals who is like my dad, because I grew up on septic system, and my dad was very strict on what goes in, how you drive around, because I was a country girl, so I would drive in the backyard and drive all on the drain field, and I got in trouble a lot. But that is another user, so we will know what our audience is. And then second, we had to look at individuals who are not on septic for sewer costs and things of that nature. And then also to kind of deviate those out of the survey when we're needing to focus on the information for septic users. With that survey and the numbers that I gave you, so again, it was 40 companies that were able to be a part of the survey and 440 septic users that were able to be a part of it. But I want to highlight the gap. So if you can see it, in Horry County, there's about 6 septic companies, and the ratio of septic users is about 153. So that's a big gap. And within that 40 septic companies, we learned that only 48% of them are able to do septic full service. And so that includes pump out. So if you're in that community, and let's say half of those service companies are able to serve fully septic, that is going to cause problems. You're going to have longer wait times, more costs, and more failures due to the extended time that needs to be waiting. Because even though the system may be failing, what's going into the system, unless that home is vacant, is still going into that system. So with that information that we gathered, and I'm sorry that the text jumbled, but we had to look at what is valuable to the septic owner. And so what says in that jumbled part is the septic service provider. And what they valued was time is money. So if you don't know where your septic system is located, that gives you more time because the person has to probe and find that, and that's more cost. Also, on the other end, if a septic service provider is not available, that also increased the time of when another septic service user, or if you're having to call again or something of that nature, so failures continue. I don't know about you, but if I'm too long on a hold line and I've heard the song and I can sing it now, I'm going to hang up that phone. So if they are in that position, when's the next time they'll be able to call again? And the failure will continue. The other side is water quality. Earlier, I stated water quality is very important to me, but it may not be important to some of the other individuals who are septic users. That's not no shade to them. It's just not as important as it is to me. So we've had to look in what they value in water quality. And the biggest thing that they value is estuary health, maybe because it's a big thing for fishing and recreational needs, and stream water health, which is similar in that same way. Groundwater health wasn't really something that was fully thought of, and it could be maybe the understanding of groundwater or that out of sight, out of mind concern. So we had to express to them the importance of keeping groundwater healthy. And then something that's happening in the low country area is sea level rise, and that is posing a huge threat for us. So to highlight even deeper into the sea level rise, I'm sure this group knows a lot about that, but if not, you need to have some distance vertically for your water table to allow your drain field to do what it needs to do. If there's not a lot of distance, that drain field is going to fail because it doesn't have the room to do the hydraulics of cleaning and treating that wastewater. In the picture that you see right there, that is a map of the Beaufort County area. And the darker the red, the shorter or shallower that water table is, which means those septic systems are getting pressure and stress from environmental pressures. Also, when we find out that those areas of septic systems not being able to succeed, you can't replace it with another septic system that's just like it. So looking into what will be the next thing that that homeowner can do, and that will be sewer hookup. In some areas, it's not available, or the cost is too high. It will be very difficult for that homeowner to do so. So midway point, we're almost there. I have the 2 case studies, then we'll go into future planning and conclusions. So one case study is from the Mount Pleasant Water Works Company. Gwen Wallover, who is a water quality environmental program specialist for Mount Pleasant Water Works, was on a team that created a septic assistance program. And with that program, homeowners receive support from funding or assistance on kind of budget planning for septic system health. There are places in Mount Pleasant where hooking up to the sewer is not accessible. So they didn't want to leave those individuals stranded. So they're looking into resources or assistance to help those individuals maintain a healthy septic. And that's the goal of these programs. Another one is a clean water credit program. Now, this program is to help individuals who can hook up to sewer get to sewer hookup. And there's funding that comes from the town and other additional funding to help that, and savings plans as well. And so the way success was measured, and it was simply who was able to be involved and if they were able to help those customers. So in 2023, the Clean Water Credit Program started off, and they were able to help 40 customers. That number might seem small for a big state or anything of that nature, but that is big in our area because of septic. Like I said, it's something out of sight, out of mind. So to bring them in and help those customers was awesome. And now 79 additional customers are now in the contraction phase of being in connection as well. Septic maintenance program, it was launched this past spring, so it's still fairly new, but 13 homeowners have joined that program and the interest continues to grow. Another program that we worked alongside with, and with this program, I was able to present myself, which was really awesome. It is the Edisto Land Trust Water Quality Workshop, and this is part of the Edisto Land Trust program. Tom Austin, who is the director of this conservation program, led the charge on getting septic system service and pump outs done in his community. The reason why 70% of the creeks were impaired in the Edisto area, and that was due to bacteria. It was traced back that most of that bacteria influence was human influence. So it caused swim advisories, shellfish closures, and things of that nature. And to highlight the thought process behind the community of septic system, shellfish closures, the biggest question that we heard was, all right, I hear that you have a shellfish closure in this area, but if I get the oysters and fry them, would it still be okay? So that just lets you know that the community may not have fully knew the impact of what bacteria does to an environment. Another thing is Edisto Island, they mostly have to rely on septic system. Only 40% of the beach has the ability to hook to sewer. So that means it's extremely important to make sure they don't reach failure in a lot of homes that live in that area. So in 2022, when the program was first launched, they were able to get 15 free inspections and repairs. And within that, there were 10 systems repaired and 1 fully replaced system, which was awesome. And with that success, in 2024, that's when I was able to jump on, do some presentation and drop-in events. They were able to do 50 free inspections and repairs, which equaled up to 45 being repaired and 23 being fully replaced, which is really, really awesome. And that is a lot of funding that Tom and other members, Amy Scaroni, who is also a member of the water resource team, getting that funding to do that was really awesome. And there's dreams of 2026, we continue this on. So future planning. New promo items. We have a few things, but we always need to grow our resources to give individuals the right tools to make sure they have success. So we will continue to do research into different items. Then we are looking to maybe get a little bit more detailed in how we give information. So garbage disposals are not best thing for septic system. They're not really the best thing for any type of wastewater management, but we're looking into ways of telling that message to homeowners to make sure that they have success with their septic system. I will say I've seen someone dump a whole pot of pasta in their sink and drive it down to their septic system through their garbage disposal. And I just had to kind of go, let's do this another way. So that's what we're working with. We are still working alongside other organizations who are creating different types of ways of reaching buyers, and we're also growing our audience. We want to get more realtors involved so we can catch people at the start of owning their home and knowing if they have septic, and first-time home buyers as well. So conclusion, our main goal is to protect the environment. And with septic systems, like I said, as a water resource agent, I may know all the details of how to protect water qualities, especially through septic system. but our users may not know those details, and some people have stumbled upon owning a septic system, so they may not even have a full background of knowing what septic systems does. But with us, or someone like me, being in the middle, being able to translate what the sustainable practices do, and from our engineering perspective over to the community, it is always positive, because that's where we see the results of people knowing what to do next. So I have a QR code here for the Be Septic Safe webpage if you like to browse the aisles for that. But it's questions, and I would like to thank my partners and all that was involved. And also, I see that my director is here, so I would like to thank her as well for being able to have some time to see me present today. And that's it. It questions.
Thank you so much, Beatrice, for your insights. Now we are in the Q&A session. Does anybody in the audience have a question for Beatrice? Please feel free to put it in the chat or raise your hand and we can unmute you if you prefer to talk directly. I think I have something here in the chat. Let's see.
Yeah,
Here's a
saw it.
question.
Yes.
So I'll read it for you. What are the most common warning signs that a home septic system is failing or needs service?
Oh, that's a great question. So, with your septic system, sometimes it can be blanketed by plumbing issues. If your plumbing issues continue, so you get a plumber, you think it's solved, and it comes back, you need to look further down the line. It's possibly septic. So, a good example of if you are smelling a really foul smell in your bathroom or something of that nature, or you're seeing where you're having slow draining pipes, you might get a plumber out. It could be a clog, and you get it cleaned out, and then a month later it comes again. That's a septic concern. It's no longer a plumbing concern. If that's a good answer for you, I can go into further details.
Yeah, thank you. We have another question here from Eric Moser. What do you tell people about flushable wipes?
Don't flush them. They're not flushable. You can flush, like you do the action, but when it goes down, it does not tear or break down the way it needs to dissolve how it should, so it can be pumped out. It causes a clog.
Yes, I agree. I have tenants and they don't listen.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, we got all kind of people out here in this world, so you just have to kind of learn how to deal with those types of tenants. My advice is, if you have it in your clause for the renters thing, if you have to repair an issue, you might can give a one-time pass, but that second time around, it's on them. They're going to have to pay for the service that is needed, especially if they are problem renters. That's an idea that we've been using.
He says, yes, I gave a handout on FOG and wipes.
Yes, it's kind of something we've grown to learn. I remember growing up, when you had grease and you fried things, you either dumped it in the backyard, things of that nature, and that was way in the past. But now we've learned a lot more about pipes and how they work. Fats, oils, and grease, the pipe that you have, it is not short enough, or it has the ability or straight enough for that fat, oils, and grease to continue where it's supposed to go. It's going to clog because it will solidify in the middle of your pipes. So that's something to think about. And it doesn't matter how much hot water you try to send down through it, it will cool by the time it gets to where you're trying to get it to. Put it in the trash.
It's very insightful. And it says, our commenter says, yes, big extract money dollars to remove and clean pipes.
Yes, yes. And we don't want all them dollar signs. I like, when I'm looking for restaurants, I'm looking for $2 signs. I'm not looking for four.
I see another question here. How do we contact Beatrice regarding involving management of septic systems in McLeanville. So I know you operate in South Carolina, but can you help us get more information for our state or our region here in Eastern North Carolina? Or if you
Sure.
can serve this area too, I'm not sure. Just let us know.
That might be a question for my director. But I can definitely reach out to me in an email, and I'm sure there's some septic teams and organizations that are working in that area. I just know in the low country it became a high pressure for us because of that sea level rise, and we were having a lot of effects to our oyster population and beyond. So the pressure was on us, but we can definitely share as much information as we have.
Is it okay we share your email here in the chat?
Yes, ma'am. Do you have it?
I do. Let's copy
Okay.
here just in case anyone in the audience have extra questions later for Beatrice about septic systems. Another question from Pablo. I saw in the presentation the map of Beaufort County. Do you know if there's any modeling tools to identify which places are most vulnerable to septic failure from rising groundwater levels?
There are a few tools that's being with different types of groups. So right now, I don't want to go fully into details because Clemson University hasn't done all the research. We're working with the research team on that side. So we're more on the communication side of septic information. But on our partnering groups like Sea Grant and DHEC and things of that nature, there are tools that are being in place to see that sea level rise adjustment. I can say with the aquarium, they are using some crowdsource information from homeowners to show the impact of sea level rise at their home. So they actually have a ruler at the nearest stop sign in a neighborhood or a light post that shows water levels will reach this point because of sea level rise in this area when we have flooding and things of that nature.
Thank you so much. Any other question? We have answered everything in the chat. Let's see. Well, we left your email there. Thank you for allowing us to share that. And like I said in the beginning, we will share the slides too, so you can see additional information from Beatrice group there and the QR code that you share, right? So they can use it
Yes.
later. Can we move the next slide, please?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So here we have an upcoming event that actually we have tomorrow. Anyone in the audience that might be interested in participating, we are still allowing registrations. This is a hybrid technical course. We're going to have an instructor from Bridgeton. She's an industry leader in environmental engineering and environmental regulations, and she's going to be talking about is an overview about all environmental regulations that are applicable to manufacturing facilities. If you are interested into this technical course, please feel free to reach out. We have registration links for the online course and also, well, in person. If anyone in the audience is near to us, this course is going to be here at East Carolina University. Next slide, please. All right, that's all for today. Thank you so much for your time and for engaging with our guest speaker. Thank you, Beatrice, very much. We appreciate your time and effort in putting this knowledgeable presentation for our audience. And we look forward to future collaborations. Please stay in touch with us. We always have events, webinars, free webinars. The next one is going to be about energy management, and you will receive an email probably in the coming weeks for registration. And here's our QR code and information to follow us on social media. We are on LinkedIn as the ECU Center for Sustainable Energy and Environmental Engineering, and on Instagram as ECU CSE3. All right, I give you back 15 minutes of your time. Thank you very much. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye bye.